Hello, this video is designed to help children who can already write, but perhaps the writing's a bit messy or it's difficult to read because of the way they write, the way they form the letters, or the way they don't use spaces. So the ideas in this video come from my experiences of helping my nephew improve his handwriting. At the start, which you can see in the before picture, he was in primary 7. And if you look, you can see his writing is barely legible. He doesn't have an understanding of the sizes of letters comparatively. All his letters are written between the two lines on the page, and a lot of the letters are not formed correctly. The second example shows what his writing was like after 2 months of daily practice of no more than 10 minutes. Now you can see straight away that the legibility has improved. The letters are correctly formed. The comparative sizes of the letters are correct now. But you'll also notice that his letters are printed, not cursive, that is, they're not joined together. As my nephew has never written cursively, he's unlikely to start to do so now. I'll address cursive writing in the next slide. So the big question is, should writing be cursive, that is linked letters, or should it be printed? My aim would always be, where possible, to go for cursive writing, as cursive writing is quicker than printing. But for some children, this is not a realistic aim. Some children never master cursive writing, and the best aim then is legible print. For others, once they've mastered correct letter formation, they're ready to link their letters and write cursively. There's no right or wrong here. Be led by where your child is at, and you can always ask for advice from their teacher. I think one of the most important things is to keep your practice short and regular. If you can make it fun and keep your child engaged, that will help. So I'd recommend you don't practice for more than 10 minutes a day. Try and find a good way to settle yourself down into a good writing routine. If possible, find a quiet space to work in. Make sure that your child is sitting properly with a sharp pencil and has a good pencil grip. Some children have difficulty holding a pencil to write. When you hold a pencil correctly, it should lie between your thumb, index finger and middle finger. Some children will find that using a pencil grip will also help correct positioning. You can see from the picture on the right here that these come in a variety of shapes, and it's worth trying out a few to see if a particular style suits your child best. Again, you can always ask the school if they have some pencil grips for your child to use. The example that you saw before of my nephew's writing, in the first picture he was using a grip. As his pencil control improved, he gave it up, and the after example of writing is without a grip. As well as correct letter formation, we want to encourage fluidity. Some children are too focused on correcting mistakes and will continually erase their work. In these cases, I'd recommend using a pen to help discourage the habit. If you prepare the page for your child to write on using a highlighted line, this will help them enormously. This gives them a visual clue. It helps them see if the sizes of the letters are wrong. In the first example, you can see they've got no difference in the size of the lowercase letters that are short, tall or long. But by using a highlighter, you can see in the second picture, the tall letters are kept tall, the long letters are kept long, and the short letters are all kept within the highlighted line. Another trick to do at first is to check the spacing. Now, I don't think you should necessarily get too hung up on this. I don't think children should check the spacing as they go along. More at the end. If they use a narrow pencil, they can see they've left appropriate spaces between each of the letters or between each of the words. And again, it lets them see where they're going wrong and if they need to increase the space between their letters and words, or even decrease it if they're leaving too big a gap. Start by practicing lowercase letters first, and because your child can already write, don't do it a letter at a time, practice a family group at a time. Once you've got that group written out a couple of times, encourage your child to make short words that you can out of the letters you've already practiced, either from today's letters or using all the letters you've practiced over the previous few days. In the next few slides, I'm going to show you the letter families and give some suggestions of words that your child can practice. The first family to practice are all the letters that can be formed from making the basic shape of the letter C. An O is a C extended round and joined at the top. A goes right round like the O but comes back down with a flick. D is formed like an A, but instead of stopping when you reach the top, you go up to form the height and then down. Similarly with G and Q, instead of going up high, you're dropping down to form a tail. By using the highlighted line, your child can easily see which letters should be going above the highlighted line and which letters go below. It's the same for the next family, the R family. The shape of the letter R is the base for forming N, M, H, K, B and P. Again, some letters go above the highlighted line and some go below. Some children find the I family quite confusing because the letters look similar, but they go in different directions and they're different heights. The difference between V and W and U and Y is that the V's and W's are formed with sharp points, U and Y round up and come back down again. I've called this group the extras because they don't really form a standard pattern. E is one of the trickiest letters for a child to write, grasping that it starts in the middle and not at the top or the bottom. Once your child has revised all the lowercase letters, I would go on to capitals. Rather than just repeatedly writing out the capital letters, try and find ways to make it more fun. You can write out mixes of lower and uppercase letters by writing lists of names. Now that could be names of children, countries, languages, foods, cartoon characters, people from their favourite film. They can then go on to copying out short sentences, or by keeping it fun, writing out jokes and rhymes. One of the most important things I think when doing handwriting practice is to keep it short and keep it fun. Your child will have done a lot of practice at school and may well have turned off to the whole idea of handwriting. In the picture you can see an example that I did with my nephew who loves Star Wars, so he was writing out the names of Star Wars characters. Another way to make your child aware of the standard of the writing is to encourage them each day to choose their best, whether it's a best letter or the best word, focusing on the positive writing that they've done that day rather than on the mistakes. In time, your child will be able to stop using the spacer to check and the highlighted line. hope you find these tips useful, and I hope you have fun helping your child learn to write.